The Russian President Trump is also raising eyebrows for suggesting he'd meet with Putin before taking office if he wins the election next month. Our Brian Todd has been tracking reaction to Trump's comments. Brian's joining us now with the latest. What are you learning?
Well, tonight, Wolf, Donald Trump is being roundly criticized for that idea to meet with Putin before he takes office. The Clinton campaign dismissing Trump as a cheerleader for Putin. President Obama has weighed in, but Trump is holding firm tonight, saying he can fix a relationship with Russia that's been broken by Clinton and Obama. Donald Trump pushing hard on one of his most controversial ideas, his embrace of Vladimir Putin. Trump tells radio host Michael Savage Hillary Clinton shouldn't be talking so tough about Russia, and says if he's elected, he'd do something never seen before.
I think I could see myself meeting with Putin and meeting with Russia prior to the start of the administration.
It's a slap in the face to Obama, to Hillary, and of course, frankly, to many Republicans. I mean, it's long been a part of the Republican platform to be so skeptical of Russia.
In a statement today, Hillary Clinton's campaign said she would stand up to the Russian president and, quote, not coddle him. The Obama administration directly blames Russia for the hacking of the Democratic Party, and Trump's been blasted for encouraging it.
Frankly, I hate to say it, our country is going to hell, and we're not going to let it happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2016 will be as bad as the Great Depression.
But we have to put our money where our mouths are. And we can only realize the promise of this institution's founding, to replace the ravages of war with cooperation, if powerful nations, like my own, accept constraints. Sometimes I'm criticized in my own country for professing a belief in international norms and multilateral institutions, but I am convinced that in the long run, giving up some freedom of action, not giving up our ability to protect ourselves or pursue our core interests, but binding ourselves to international rules over the long term enhances our security. And I think
according to the report, 64% of US citizens back Trump's call to work with Russia on different global problems. The Republican candidate for the US presidential election expects to have a very good relations with Russia, and especially with President Vladimir Putin if elected. Donald Trump told an audience of US military veterans, I quote Donald Trump, I think that I would have a very good relationship with Putin, and I think that I would have a good relationship with Russia.
Involved with Putin, for I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him other than he will respect me. I don't think Putin has any respect whatsoever for Clinton. I think he does respect me. And I hope I get along great with him. It's possible that we won't, Jeremy. I hope that we get along great with Putin, because it would be great to have Russia with a good relationship. Right now, we don't have a good relationship. Putin has said things over the last year that are really bad things, okay? He mentioned the N-word one time. I was shocked to hear him mention the N-word. You know what the N-word is, right? He mentioned it. I was shocked. He has a total lack of respect for President Obama. Number one, he doesn't like him, and number two, he doesn't respect him. I think he's going to respect your president if I'm elected, and I hope he likes me. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press.
According to multiple polls, the Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump and Democratic rival Hillary Clinton are the two of the most unpopular candidates for the White House in the US history. Some Trump voters do not see the battle as one between two evils, but rather view Clinton as evil to the core. According to Mayor General Patrick Brady, it would be a grave moral evil not to do everything possible to defeat Clinton. What she would do is morally, physically, and intellectually evil for the United States. The US colonial empire is finished. Trump to push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on congressmen. Donald Trump announced that if elected president, he will call for constitutional amendment that would impose term limits on all members of the US House of Representatives. According to the Russian constitution, Russia is a colony of the United States since 1991. There was a military coup in Russia back in 1990s. Very similar situation happened in Russia, which only few months back happened in Turkey. I am talking about a failed military coup. When Soviet Union collapsed, countries like Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Poland and others were taken away from Russia illegally. And then NATO troops were stationed in those countries. Russia during WW3 has paid the price of 25 million lives for those countries. Why I am sharing this particular information with you? Because this is going to be the last fight between the Russian elite and the elite of the United States. During the Russian election on 18th of September, Putin's backed political party won the election in Russia. All the illegal actions that were implemented in 1990s will be void. They will stop working. That means NATO will have to move out from the Baltic states, Poland, Romania, Moldova and other countries. There is a section regarding this matter in the NATO documents. Many laws in Russia will stop working because those laws were passed illegally back in 1990s. Immediately after that, more than $1 billion of the US dollars will stop going daily to the US budget from Russia. This is not new for people who know the history. This has happened in China before, when NATO had to move out when China was able to take over the control over its constitution. The same thing is about to happen in Russia. And this is the main reason for everything in today's world. Because there are many people who do not know this information. Breaking News TV will keep you updated with the real news, where it's becoming increasingly hard to find it on YouTube. You can find all our best videos on Breaking News TV YouTube channel. The United States of America wrote Japan's constitution. The US Vice President Joe Biden made a remark on Donald Trump, but ended up in deep water with Japan, saying that the US wrote Japan's constitution. Japan's foreign ministry refused to comment on Biden's remark, but referred to Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's statement of March 2015, in which Shinzo Abe said that the Constitution of Japan had been written by occupying forces over a short period of time. Japan's constitution was adopted in 1947 and was indeed compiled under the US occupation that started after WW2. The goal of the 80% of the world is to destroy the US dollar, which will lead to the constitutional changes in many countries around the world. To stop that, the US elite has to destroy Russia. There is no other method to keep the United States' global dominance. A former NATO head, Anders Fogh Rasmussen, has called on the United States to act as the world's policeman, especially to counter autocrats like President Vladimir Putin. In his opinion, only the United States has the credibility to be a policeman and to restore global order. A firefighter to put out the flames of conflict, a kind of mayor, smart and sensible, to lead the rebuilding of the world. The world needs such a policeman if freedom and prosperity are to prevail against the forces of aggression. The only capable, reliable, and desirable candidate for the position is the United States. In simple words, ex-NATO head calls directly for the United States to do something very serious about Putin.
World government is in very, very deep shit. I don't normally use, quote, profanity to describe things, but when the shoe fits, wear it. A rose by any other name is still a rose. Well, the New World Order being in deep trouble by any other name is still the same thing. World government has been constructed by a consortium of less than 20 banking families who have openly announced their plan to establish a one world government based on an anti-human, post-industrial, globalist ideology. This is such a triumph over them that all their hoaxes, all their lies, all their disinformation saying none of this planetary government stuff exists, the fact that all their propaganda has failed shows how much trouble they're in and how much credibility they've lost.